The Social Security Administration does not treat everyone the same. And I mean that in the most specific financial way possible. Two people who worked the same years, earned the same income, and stopped working at the same age can receive permanently different monthly checks for the rest of their lives based solely on the year they were born. That is not an opinion. That is how the law is written. So today, I am going to break this down by birth year group, the real numbers, the real rules, and the real mistakes that are costing Americans money right now in 2026. Because SSA will process your claim, reduce your benefit, and never once send you a letter explaining what you left on the table. Find your group, listen closely. Let's start. If you were born between 1943 and 1954, you were between 72 and 83 years old, and your full retirement age was 66. Most people in this group assume the decisions are behind them. For many of you, that assumption is costing money every single month. The first thing to check is your survivor benefit. A significant number of widows and widowers in this age range are collecting their own retirement benefit when they would actually receive substantially more on their late spouse's record. The survivor benefit can be as high as 100% of what your deceased spouse was receiving. If you lost a spouse and have never called SSA to compare both figures side by side, you may have been leaving real money behind for years. The number to call is 1-800-772-1213. Ask them to pull both benefit amounts and switch you to the higher record if it applies. One phone call, permanent change. The second thing involves the Social Security Fairness Act, which was signed into law on January 5, 2025. This legislation permanently repealed two provisions known as WEP and GPO, the Windfall Elimination Provision and the Government Pension Offset, which had for decades quietly slashed Social Security benefits for people who also received government pensions. Teachers, police officers, firefighters, federal workers, roughly 3.2 million people had their benefits reduced or eliminated by these two rules. Under the new law, those reductions are gone, retroactive to January 2024. As of mid-2025, the SSA had distributed over $17 billion in retroactive payments to more than 3.1 million people, with an average lump sum back payment of approximately $6,710. If you had a government pension and your benefit has not increased since early 2025, log into your My Social Security account at ssa.gov right now and verify your current amount. If the correction has not been applied, call SSA and ask specifically about your WEP and GPO adjustment. Third, check your Medicare Part B premium. If your income was elevated in 2024 due to a property sale, a large IRA withdrawal, or any one-time financial event, Medicare may be charging you an IRMAA surcharge right now, an income-related monthly adjustment that can add anywhere from $70 to over $440 per person per month on top of your standard premium. If that income spike was a one-time event and your income has since come down, you can appeal using Form SSA 44, available free at ssa.gov. People who successfully appeal are saving between $1,000 and $5,000 per year. That form is not widely advertised. Now you know it exists. If you were born between 1955 and 1959, you were between 67 and 71 years old, and this is the group with the most variable and most misunderstood rules in the entire system right now. Here is the exact full retirement age for every birth year in this range, and I want you to hear your specific month because the SSA does not round. Born in 1955, your full retirement age is 66 years and 2 months. Born in 1956, it is 66 years and 4 months. Born in 1957, it is 66 years and 6 months. Born in 1958, it is 66 years and 8 months. Born in 1959, it is 66 years and 10 months. That is your number. Not around 66, not 67, your specific month. And if you claim Social Security even 1 month before that date, your benefit was reduced permanently by a fraction of a percent for every month early. On a benefit of $2,000 per month, claiming just 6 months before your exact FRA can reduce your check by $60 every single month for life. Across 20 years of retirement, that 6-month gap nobody explained costs you $14,400. If you are in this group and still working while collecting, the 2026 earnings test limit is $24,480. For every $2 you earn above that, SSA withholds $1 from your benefit. Most people who experience this believe that money is gone permanently. It is not. After you reach your full retirement age, SSA recalculates your benefit upward to credit you for every month benefits were withheld. The withholding is a deferral, not a penalty. Understanding that distinction protects you from panic filing earlier than you should just to avoid the withholding. And for anyone in this group who has not yet claimed, if you delay past your full retirement age, your benefit grows by 0.2% for every additional month you wait, all the way to age 70. Over 3 full years from FRA to 70, that is a 24% permanent increase. On a $2,000 monthly benefit, that is $480 more every single month for the rest of your life. And because every future cost of living adjustment is applied as a percentage of your benefit, a higher base at 70 means every annual COLA increase is worth more in actual dollars for the rest of your retirement. If you were born between 1960 and 1965, you are between 61 and 66 years old, and 2026 is the year your generation's rules lock in permanently. Your full retirement age is exactly 67, the final step of a change that began with the 1983 amendments to the Social Security Act, now fully phased in. And what that means for your group specifically is that the penalty for claiming early is now at its historical maximum. Claiming at 62 with a full retirement age of 67 permanently reduces your benefit by 30%. On a $2,000 monthly benefit, that is $600 less every single month for the rest of your life. Over 20 years of retirement versus waiting to 67, you receive $144,000 less in total lifetime income. Versus waiting to 70, the difference exceeds $259,000. The SSA will process your application without spelling this out in dollar terms. They will ask if you understand your benefit will be reduced. You will say yes. And that reduced number becomes your permanent baseline. There is also something almost nobody in this group ever hears. If you are already past 67 and have not yet filed, you may be able to request up to 6 months of retroactive payments as a lump sum when you do file. On an average benefit around $2,000 per month, 6 months of retroactive payments comes to over $12,000 delivered with your first check. There is a trade-off. Your start date moves back slightly, which modestly reduces your ongoing monthly amount, but the option exists and SSA will not mention it unless you specifically ask. For those of you in this group who are currently between 60 and 63, there is a retirement savings opportunity open right now that closes the moment you turn 64. The Secure 2.0 Act created what is called a super catch-up contribution for workers aged exactly 60 through 63. In 2026, if you are in that age window and still working, you can contribute up to $35,750 to your 401k, the standard $24,500 limit, plus an enhanced catch-up of $11,250, confirmed by the IRS for the 2026 tax year. That is $3,250 more than what workers in their 50s can contribute. 3 years of contributions at this level can add over $100,000 in tax advantage savings before the window closes. If you are 60, 61, 62, or 63 right now, confirm with your HR department that your plan has adopted the Super Catch-up provision and use it fully this year. For everyone in this group 5 to 6 years from claiming, the single highest return action available to you right now is opening your Social Security statement at ssa.gov and comparing the earnings listed for every single year against your own W-2 forms or tax returns. Every year where the record shows a lower number than you actually earned, or a 0 during a year you were clearly employed, reduces your eventual monthly benefit by approximately $100 permanently. Finding and correcting those errors now, while documentation is accessible and you still have time before claiming, is the most valuable financial action a pre-retiree can take. If you were born in 1966 or later, you are 60 or younger, your full retirement age is 67. Claiming at 62 means a 30% permanent reduction, and waiting to 70 adds up to 24% above your full benefit. Those numbers are fixed for your generation. But what is not fixed, and what your generation specifically needs to watch right now, falls into 3 areas. First, the super catch-up contribution window. If you just turned 60 in 2026, you are entering it right now. The $35,750 total 401k contribution limit applies to you this year and through age 63. Use it. If you are younger than 60, this window is coming for you. Put it on your calendar and position your finances to maximize those 4 years the moment you enter them. Second, your earnings record. The SSA has been recording your payroll data since your first job, and that data came from employers. In every year of that process, there was an opportunity for errors. A wrong number submitted, a year missed, self-employment income misreported. For your generation, which includes workers who were active during the 1980s, 1990s, and early 2000s, when payroll processing was inconsistent, the probability that at least 1 year in your record does not accurately reflect what you earned is real. Each incorrect year costs roughly $100 per month in future benefit permanently. Log in to SSA.gov, open your statement, and check every year while your documentation is still findable. Third, the trust fund. The Congressional Budget Office, in its February 2026 Budget and Economic Outlook, projected that the Old Age and Survivors Insurance Trust Fund will be exhausted by 2032, 1 year earlier than the previous CBO estimate and 2 years earlier than the 2024 projection. The most recent Social Security Trustees report, released in June 2026, confirmed that depletion date at late 2032. At that point, ongoing payroll tax income would be sufficient to cover approximately 77 to 78% of scheduled benefits, meaning an automatic across-the-board cut of roughly 22 to 23% for every recipient, unless Congress acts. On the current average retirement benefit of $2,081 per month, a 23% reduction would cut that by approximately $479 every month. Your generation has the most years ahead of it under this system, and the most to gain from Congress acting, and the most to lose in Huteto. Here is the full summary. Born between 1943 and 1954, verify your survivor benefit, confirm your WEP and GPO correction has been applied, and check whether you are paying IRMAA surcharges that can be appealed with Form SSA 44. Born between 1955 and 1959, know your exact full retirement age down to the month. Understand that earnings test withholding comes back after FRA, and calculate the real dollar value of delayed credits before making any claiming decision. Born between 1960 and 1965, understand what a 30% permanent reduction means in actual monthly dollars. Ask about the retroactive lump sum option if you are past 67 and have not yet filed, and check your earnings record while corrections are still possible. Born in 1966 or later, use the Super Catch-up window the moment you enter it. Verify every year of your earnings record while documentation is accessible, and stay informed about the trust fund timeline. The SSA will not send you an FTI NALTI. Share this with someone in one of these groups before the decisions that cannot be undone get made.